They feel like they're changing quarterbacks for just 14 yards. He was sacked 5 times. He had only 1 first down in his 5 series on the field. He was pulled with 2 minutes and change left in favor of Tyler Huntley. That decision had people asking their head coach, Kevin Stefanski, questions like this.
Can you address this sort of persistent narrative that that you're trying to sabotage Shedeur Sanders, especially after yesterday and not putting him in for the 2-minute?
Yeah, obviously, I don't concern myself with outside type of things, but I'm committed to his development, just like all of our rookies. So we'll continue to focus on getting our guys better, and that's what we'll stay committed to, and that's what's important to me.
Okay, to recap, because we touched on this story a little bit earlier, we all agree the notion that they're sabotaging him is ludicrous. NFL teams don't do that. Certainly don't do that in this context or in any context. So it's ridiculous, almost too ridiculous to address. That said, here's the piece where I understand why people think they're seeing something other than what they're seeing. Because there are many, myself included, who viewed Shedeur Sanders differently than the way he is actually perceived.
Yes.
His lot in life is he is a 5th-round pick in the NFL. This is how 5th-round picks get treated. We thought to ourselves, why aren't they doing everything they can to try and figure, oh my God, a miracle befell us and we got this guy in the 5th round. They haven't done that. And others are looking at that and saying, oh, wow, they're sabotaging him. I understand what people think they're seeing.
Yeah, because people think with their feelings, right? The feeling was that Shedeur Sanders was a certain thing. We treated Shedeur Sanders as a certain thing. The entire coverage of this NFL draft was about when will Shedeur Sanders be picked? And when he was picked in the 5th round, maybe because of your individual evaluation, mine or Dan or Schefter's or Greeny's, we felt, oh my goodness, they got this player that could be a potential franchise quarterback who we thought was going in the 1st round. In the 5th round, they should treat him like a 1st rounder. Well, that's not real life.
Right.
Real life is when you are a 5th round pick, you are treated like a 5th round pick. You get the opportunities that 5th round picks tied to you is not what's tied to a 1st overall pick or to a top 10 pick or to a top 20 pick. And so for Shedeur Sanders, this is his lot in life now.
So to be clear, I hope Shedeur Sanders eventually gets a chance to show what he's capable of. Reasonable assessment.
Yeah, that's fair, because if you go back to this weekend's game, there was regression rather than progression. It wasn't perfect. The offensive line protection wasn't great. There weren't guys getting open left and right, but all he had to do was make the right decision, get rid of the football. But we saw a lot of this stuff from Colorado, and so RC said it before, more likely that everyone's going to have to get hurt. Yeah. Dillon Gabriel should be the number 2 quarterback. He's going to have to get hurt or play poorly. Then it more than likely is going to be Kenny Pickett. So you have to go through 3 guys. Maybe
more significantly, have you seen stuff from Dillon Gabriel that would be, I mean, he's been sort of the overlooked man in all of this publicly.
Dillon Gabriel's tape has been fantastic. And everyone points to those 2 bad plays, which was the pick 6 and the fumble from that previous week. The pick 6 miscommunication, the fumbles on the quarterback. Dillon Gabriel's tape has
My glass is half full with Shedeur Sanders because we saw him play in an NFL game and play really well. He has all the physical measurables you want. So if I'm talking to Shedeur, hey, we have a long horizon here, and your game day may be on Wednesday. Take advantage of it. So my glass is very much half full.
I'm sorry.
No.
The other thing is this, though. How many very good players for other teams weren't the best player at their position or couldn't get on the field in their room with their first team? Right, there's so many players who end up being good players in this league, but it's who are you compared to the person sitting next to you? Right. What we have is film that we could compare between Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders in this preseason. And when I look at that film, Dillon Gabriel is clearly the best player. Right. And I can be honest. I wanted Shedeur to be the better player.
Sure. Right.
I wanted to be right about my pre-draft analysis. But if you look at the film, who plays on time, who plays more efficiently, who is more accurate, who seems to have a better grasp of the offense is Dillon Gabriel.
Yeah. Let me get Schefter in here. What is your expectation of how this goes?
Well, Joe Flacco is going to be the starting quarterback against the Cincinnati Bengals on opening day. Kenny Pickett, the other veteran on the roster, has not really
address this sort of persistent narrative that that you're trying to sabotage Shedeur Sanders, especially after yesterday and not putting him in for the 2-minute.
Yeah, obviously, I don't concern myself with outside type of things. But I'm committed to his development, just like all of our rookies. So we'll continue to focus on getting our guys better. And that's what we'll stay committed to, and that's what's important to me.
Okay, so just to put this piece of it to bed, all of us sitting at this table think the notion that they're sabotaging him is ridiculous and not worthy of following up on. In fact, RC, I thought you described it very well in our meeting this morning, what it is they are and aren't doing.
Yeah, what it is that they're doing is they're treating Shedeur Sanders like a fifth-round pick.
Right.
Right? We're not covering every fifth-round pick in the NFL hoping that he gets an opportunity to be the starter on day one. We felt like, oh my goodness, they got a diamond in the rough. Shedeur Sanders fell to the 5th round. They felt like they evaluated him there, and that's where they picked him. And they're playing the guy that they picked in the 3rd round over him because they evaluate him at a higher level than what they do Shedeur Sanders. And I get it. We were all frustrated. It's not the nature of the position that he's in. There's a lot of players who feel like they should have been picked at a certain spot, should have been viewed in a certain way. But when you get on these teams, it's about developing the team, not doing what's individually best for a certain player. And that NFL viewed him, but now the Cleveland Browns view him as well.
So I think that's a reasonable amount to be said on that, right? The idea that a team drafted a player and is now sabotaging his development, candidly, is too ridiculous on its face to even pursue. Having said that, what does the tape show, Dan? What did we actually see?
That the bad habits and some of the traits that we saw show up in college were very prevalent this past weekend against the Rams. Holding onto the football, catching the snap and not reading the defense, kind of evaluating what the defensive line is doing, and then trying to see if you can go make a play, and that's the concern. Okay, it's 1st and 10. They want a play-action double move at the bottom of the screen. The route doesn't win, and then the protection breaks down a little bit. You're taught as a young quarterback, protection breaks down, find the closest check down. It's right there, it's 1st and 10. He gets to like the 4th part of the progression backside that's not really part of it. Get the ball out of your hands. 2nd and 9. This is a spot concept up top. Flat, spot route, and a corner. It goes 1, 2 to 3. That defender tells you what to do with the football. If he goes out, you throw it inside. If he goes in, you throw it outside. He goes out. That ball should go inside right now, and then it's 3rd and 2 and 3rd and 3. But he just predetermines the throw. Motion man is the guy who's going to get the football. This is playing fast. He's going to be wide open in the NFL. Ball has to come out right now with the anticipation. Shedeur moves slowly, kind of trying to see what's going on, and then that creates that sack fumble. So a lot of the stuff that we just saw in college is a big deal. This ball gets snapped at the 48-yard line. Defense has won the rep. Play is dead. Throw the ball away.
Yep.
It's 1st down. But instead we run, and it's a 2.5, 3-yard loss. So instead of being 2nd and 10, we're 2nd and 13. We're dead. Again, here's the opportunity to throw the juke route. Hold, scramble. So some of those things that I was and others were concerned about on the college tape showed itself again. This is not the end of the world, though. This is part of his development in becoming a potential starting quarterback.
Greeny, that's exactly right. Like, if you said it was an A- against the Panthers, that was probably a C-. I agree with what Dan saw as well. But that's a rookie quarterback development. And look, likely he's not going to be the backup. But what I would be saying to Shedeur and Dillon Gabriel is, guess what? This is in pencil. So every week matters, every practice matters, every quiz matters. And a lot of those things can and should get cleaned up.
Let me say, yes, I agree with that. But if we're just taking the preseason games and the tape that we have, the body of work between Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders on tape isn't close. Dillon Gabriel plays at NFL speed, and right now, with the body
and try to get you better, because to RC's point, we saw a lot of great things at Colorado. His tempo has to get dramatically better, but I have seen rookie quarterbacks improve their tempo, and that's...
Mike T, look at that stat from Hembo. His average time to throw was 4.5 seconds.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's really bad, right? That's a ridiculous.
Honestly, but the thing is this, right? Both of these players have played a tremendous amount of football.
Right.
And I remember last year when Bo Nix came out of Oregon, we talked about all the easy throws Oregon creates.
Right.
The level of the skill players that are around him. And then we watched Bo Nix acclimate to the NFL game extremely quickly. I see a lot of those same traits in Dillon Gabriel. He gets the football out of his hands. He takes the throw that's available. available to him. He plays on time. And part of whether or not you get an opportunity to get on the field is the people that you're competing against. And I don't mean this in any disrespectful way to Shedeur, because I'm not only a fan, it's somebody I want to see succeed. He doesn't play this year unless everybody gets hurt. If all of these players don't get hurt, I expect that they all get an opportunity to start a game before Shedeur Sanders.
Let me get Schefter in here. So what should we now expect? The preseason is now over. How do you see the quarterback room looking in Cleveland?
I think you're going to see Joe Flacco start, as they said. Kenny Pickett has not been fully healthy. They're still bringing him back. It would seem to me, based on that Dillon Gabriel very well might be the number 2 quarterback for the Browns' opening game against the Cincinnati Bengals. And again, all this talk about Shedeur, we might not see any more tape of Shedeur until late in the season, if we see any more at all. The next tape we might get on him might be in training camp 2026.
And remember this, too. All the people talking about the sabotage because of the offensive line he played with, he played with the offensive line that is set on the same tier of the depth chart that he is because he was a 5th-round pick.
Correct. The part of the reason for the disconnect is that we view